What's going on, everybody? I just watched this movie on Netflix called The Lovebirds. It was really bad. I don't know why I chose to watch this. Well, actually, I do. I do know why. Two reasons. I like Kumail Nanjiani. I think he's funny, whether it be as himself on talk shows or playing a character in movies or TV. I think he's a funny guy. I think he's a talented guy. There are moments in this movie where every so often he will have a line that is very clearly improv that will make me chuckle. The first 5 minutes of this movie, which is kind of a backhanded compliment, I was with it for 5 whole minutes. I was like, you know what? This is working for me. It's rushed, but I like these two together. Like, in order for any romantic comedy to work, your two leads need to have chemistry. And these two do have chemistry together. So I was like, you know what, this is rushed, but I'm with it. Maybe this will be okay. Because it got good reviews. And I'll talk about those reviews later in this review. So they got chemistry, at least in the beginning. I like Kumail Nanjiani, and every so often, in the plethora of improv lines that there are in this movie, Kumail Nanjiani would say something that would just make me go, huh. That was it. Never laughed out loud hard once, but a couple, huh. Besides that, this is probably going to be in my top 5 worst movies of the year. I could not stand this movie. I thought it was terrible. I really had a terrible time watching this film. I hate this type of comedy. I talked about it a little bit with The Wrong Missy, where it was like, I hate comedy or film in general where characters don't just talk. This is a bad sitcom. It is the definition of situational, wacky zaniness comedy where all of it would be resolved if two people would just act like adults. If adults would just act like adults and just talk. Just talk about a situation instead of having to be all wacky and hijinksy. They don't just talk. It annoys the hell out of me. Act like adults. You're adults. Be adults. But the biggest problem is that these two characters are so unlikable. It's obvious 5 minutes into this movie that these characters don't belong together, which the film does acknowledge, but as it goes on, they just won't shut up. They just babble and bad improv constantly. Every so often, like I said, Kumail Nanjiani would say something kind of funny, but this woman, Issa Rae, she's a talented actress, very beautiful, but her improv stinks. There's not one moment that in this entire movie that made me laugh hard. And it's obnoxious comedy. It keeps throwing these lines at you. Constant improv, back and forth. Like, I think they're trying to be like Aaron Sorkin-ish, witty back and forth dialogue, but it's not funny. None of it is funny. This movie is directed really poorly. I mean, it's edited poorly. They don't know when to cut, because they just let these actors they're out on an island just improvising back and back, like dueling hens, just back and forth, and it's painfully unfunny. The movie has terrible editing. Oh my God, some of the worst editing I've seen in a movie in a long time. There's a scene in this movie, spoiler alert, there's a scene in this movie where a horse kicks a guy. You know, though, it does the whole thing where it bucks and then it kicks its leg out and kicks a guy. That's always funny to me. A horse going, and then flicking his leg out there and clocking somebody is always funny to me. They don't make that work in this movie because it's edited really poorly. And I was like, how do you not make that work? It doesn't know when to end on a joke. They don't know how to punctuate jokes in quotation marks. This movie has a 67% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. Not sparkling, but considered fresh. Anything above 60% is fresh. There is no way in hell that 60% of movie critics saw this movie and thought it was good. There's no chance. There's zero chance. The two leads in this movie are both minorities. And before I go on a tangent, I gotta say, I think that's awesome. Because these are not only two minorities, they're two incredibly talented people, period. And they are getting the opportunities in Hollywood that probably previous generations wouldn't have allowed them to have. And I'm happy to see them leading films. They're talented people, and I wish them the best in their careers. That's not the issue. But I think that we are doing a disservice to film as a whole by acting like crap doesn't stink simply because it has a progressive agenda. I think it would be so much better if there was a movie starring these two people that had funny characters, good dialogue, a good director, good editing. That would be a real breakthrough. That would be progressive, in my opinion. Simply putting two talented people in a movie, attempting to showcase their talents, and instead kind of making them out to embarrass themselves, I don't think it is progressive. Outside of the fact that it has two talented minority leads, There's nothing else about it that's progressive. It's poorly made. It moves film backwards several steps. It just bothered me. It bothers me when something that I think is like objectively garbage. Like, what makes you laugh is subjective, right? I laugh at dumb stuff, right? I have a weird sense of humor. But on a filmmaking level, I mean, this movie is garbage. It doesn't have a single good shot. And look, I don't come into this expecting Stanley Kubrick, right? I know that. This isn't going to be some grand, epic comedy. But, I've seen comedies. I've seen comedies recently that look good, that are shot well, that are edited well. This is not one of them. I think it's absolute trash. I give it a 2 out of 10. Yeah, I really, really did not like this movie, as I'm sure you can probably tell. Can movie theaters please reopen? Please? Can I see Tenet now? Please? I can't be doing this stuff with these Netflix movies much longer. It's going to kill me. All right. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Comment on this video if you enjoyed it. Spread the word. Let's get that subscriber count up. You can follow me on Twitter as well. The link to my Twitter page is in the description for this video. Thank you for watching. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day. I'll see you later.